about you being infamous is why you did it.
Nah. Are you kidding?
From mass shootings to chilling public attacks, we're about to witness the raw and explosive reactions of these individuals whose hatred was as deadly as their actions. Let's get started. The Portland Max train attack, a chilling episode of violence, will be etched in the memory of those who watched while it unfolded. Now, Jeremy Joseph Christian, the man at the center of it all, is facing a heavy sentence for this despicable crime. Take a seat at Multnomah County Circuit, where the sentencing unfolds. The Portland Max train attack, a chilling episode of violence, unfolded on the 26th of May, 2017, leaving an indelible mark on the city's history. Jeremy Joseph Christian, a white supremacist with a history marred by criminal activity, including kidnapping and robbery, boarded the train. Christian's extremist views were no secret, as his social media presence was littered with neo-Nazi and anti-Semitic rhetoric.
I'm a revolutionary. We brought all the Semitic monotheist child molesters over here. I'm a Viking. We brought them over here. Come on, we got prior land claims.
On that fateful day, his vitriol spilled over. Christian launched into a tirade of racist and anti-Muslim slurs aimed at two black teenagers, one donning a hijab. It was then that three courageous men, Ricky John Best, Taliesin Murdin Namkai Meche, and Micah David Cole Fletcher, stepped forward in an attempt to quell the brewing storm. Their intervention was met with swift and deadly violence. Within a mere 12 seconds, Christian brandished a knife, fatally wounding Ricky Best and Namkai Meche, and seriously injuring Fletcher. As the Max train came to an abrupt halt, news of the attack spread like wildfire. The authorities moved quickly, and Christian was apprehended near a medical center. The courtroom became a battleground for the clashing narratives of a man who had sown discord and a society that demanded accountability. Christian's behavior in court was erratic and disruptive. He spouted outbursts that echoed his extremist beliefs, showing little remorse for the lives he had violently disrupted.
Speech or die, Portland. You got no safe place. Get out if you don't like free speech. Liar. Liar. You're not the only black person on Max. Liar.
After a meticulous and emotionally charged trial, the verdict was delivered. Jeremy Christian was found guilty on all counts. He was handed 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, ensuring that the man who had inflicted so much pain would spend the rest of his days behind bars. But Jeremy wasn't about to go down without a fight. In the sweltering summer of 2015, an act of hate would etch the names Kayla Norton and Jose Torres into the annals of infamy. These angry members of the Ku Klux Klan, fueled by racial animosity, disrupted a peaceful birthday celebration with their vitriolic presence. Today, we delve into the story of how their actions at a child's party led to life-changing sentences by Judge William McLean. It was July 2015, a mere month after the Charleston church shooting, where 9 African-American worshippers were gunned down in a racially motivated attack.
Good morning, America. Breaking news, deadly church shooting. Tragedy in Charleston. At least 9 people killed overnight in a massacre in an historic black church.
The incident reignited a fierce debate across the United States about the Confederate flag's place in modern society. Amid this, Kayla Norton, Jose Torres, and their affiliates formed a group known as Respect the Flag. With Confederate battle flags mounted on their pickup trucks, they embarked on what they called a flag ride through Douglas and Paulding counties.
Look at this. We'll see y'all again. We'll see y'all again.
African-American citizens celebrating a child's birthday reported a gang of trucks with passengers shouting racial slurs and issuing threats. The partygoers, mostly African-American, were stunned as the Respect the Flag members, including Norton and Torres, began to terrorize them.
Pulling rifles out on 5 trucks of white guys with rebel flags. They got knives and guns. Yes.
The group stepped out of their trucks and brandished their Confederate flags like weapons, as well as a loaded shotgun aggressively toward the partygoers. Fortunately, no one was harmed before Norton, Torres, and their fellow aggressors were identified and arrested.
He's the one had the gun. He's the one had the gun.
The courtroom became a stage where the consequences of hate were laid bare for all to see. The defendants' own actions painted a clear picture of the crime-making terroristic threats and violating the Georgia Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. For Torres, the situation was even graver, as he faced an additional charge of aggravated assault for his use of the shotgun during the incident.
26-year-old Jose Ismael Torres, sentenced to 20 years. He was ordered to serve 13 years for terroristic threats, gang activity, among other charges stemming from this incident.
Torres received a sentence of 13 years in prison, followed by 7 years probation, while Norton was sentenced to 6 years in prison with 9 years probation. Both were banished from Douglas County upon their release. Norton and Torres, now facing the reality of years behind bars, were visibly shaken, their tears a testament to the magnitude of their situation.
Not me. That is not me. That's not him. I would never walk up to you and say those words to you. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
There is no place for you or your ignorant, hateful, and evil ideologies in a civilized society.
10 lives were extinguished, communities torn apart, and a nation left grappling with the weight of another hate-fueled massacre. As the gavel came down at the Erie County Court, 19-year-old Peyton Gendron is faced with the stark reality of his actions after receiving a life sentence devoid of parole, a sentence meant to echo the permanence of the loss felt by so many. On a seemingly ordinary Saturday 14th May 2020, the city of Buffalo, New York, became the epicenter of a national tragedy. Peyton Gendron, a young man of 18 years, embarked on a sinister journey from his hometown of Conklin, New York, to the Tops Friendly Market supermarket in Buffalo's predominantly Black East Side neighborhood.
When I first saw him shooting, he shot a woman, he shot a deacon, he shot another woman, and then he went in the store and started shooting again.
A white supremacist, Gendron was armed with a Bushmaster XM15 AR-15 style rifle, a Savage Axis XP hunting rifle, and a Mossberg 500 shotgun as he set out on his 200-mile drive to Buffalo. Before then, he had penned a manifesto, a disturbing document that espoused white supremacist views and praised past perpetrators of racially motivated violence. Gendron had chosen Buffalo for its significant black population, aiming to inflict maximum devastation.
This is the worst nightmare that any community can face, and we are hurting and we are seething right now as a community.
At approximately 2:30 in the afternoon, Gendron, armed and armored, opened fire, striking 4 individuals before he proceeded inside. Surveillance footage captured the horror as he continued his rampage through the aisles, methodically targeting victims. Shoppers and employees alike were caught in a nightmare, with no escape from the barrage of 60 rounds that echoed through the store.
Oh my God, he shot so many people in there.
Among the chaos, a retired Buffalo police lieutenant, working as a security guard, attempted to intervene. His bravery was met with fatal gunfire, but his actions undoubtedly saved lives. In total, 13 individuals were shot, 10 of whom succumbed to their injuries. Gendron, who had live-streamed part of his attack on the platform Twitch, was eventually taken into custody without further bloodshed.
There's a lot of people dead in there.
This exclusive video capturing the shock and terror in the shooting's aftermath as the gunman was arrested.
Charged with first-degree murder and domestic terrorism motivated by hate, Gendron's legal proceedings unfolded, bolstered by the irrefutable evidence of his premeditated actions and the hateful manifesto he had left behind.
It appeared that his plans were to drive out of here and then continue driving down Jefferson Avenue, looking to shoot more black people.
In November 2020, he pleaded guilty to all state charges, expressing his apology to the family of the victims and accepting the grim reality of spending the rest of his days behind bars.
I'm very sorry for all the pain I forced the victims and their families to suffer through. I'm very sorry for stealing the lives of your loved ones. I cannot express how much I regret all the decisions I made leading up to my actions on May 14th. I did a terrible thing that day.
11 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole were handed down, one for each life he had stolen and an additional one for the terror he had inflicted upon a community.
There can be no mercy for you, no understanding, no second chances. The damage you have caused is too great, and the people you have hurt are too valuable to this community. You will never see the light of day as a free man.
Federal charges still loom over Gendron, with prosecutors contemplating the pursuit of the death penalty, a decision that would mark the first such case under President Joe Biden's administration, which had largely distanced itself from capital punishment.
The gunman in the mass shooting at a Walmart in El Paso, Texas, sentenced to serve 90 consecutive life terms.
This next case takes us to the Western District Court of Texas, where Patrick Wood Crusius is being handed 90 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole for a chilling crime that rocked the world when it first hit. Take a seat as we delve into the chilling events of that fateful day, the aftermath, and the societal reverberations of a crime rooted in hatred and prejudice. On the morning of August 3rd, 2019, a young man from Allen, Texas, would drive over 600 miles to El Paso, carrying with him not just a semi-automatic rifle, but also a manifesto laden with hate. Patrick Wood Crusius, a 21-year-old, held extremist views and a deep-seated animosity towards immigrants.
This attack is a response to the Hispanic invasion of Texas, the author writes. They are the instigators, not me. I am simply defending my country from cultural and ethnic replacement brought on by an invasion.
As the morning progressed, unsuspecting shoppers at the Cielo Vista Walmart, a popular destination near the Mexican border, went about their routine, unaware of the impending catastrophe. Crusius, armed and determined, entered the store shortly before 10:30 a.m. local time. Within minutes, the sound of gunfire echoed through the aisles, turning a place of commerce into a scene of chaos and carnage. The store manager's active shooter alert prompted a swift evacuation, with customers and employees seeking refuge or fleeing in terror. First responders arrived within 6 minutes, a rapid response that likely prevented further loss of life. Crusius was arrested without incident at a nearby intersection, his rampage leaving 23 dead and 22 injured, a toll that would include American, Mexican, and German nationals.
Police in El Paso say 20 people are dead and 26 more were wounded.
In the wake of the shooting, the manifesto Crusius posted online minutes before the attack became a focal point of investigation. It revealed his motivations, steeped in white nationalist rhetoric, and his deliberate targeting of the Latino community. In the immediate aftermath of the El Paso Walmart shooting, a community was plunged into mourning, and a nation was forced to confront the grim reality of hate-fueled violence.
Following the lead that I've heard from the El Paso Police Department, where they say there are strong indications that this shooter wrote that manifesto and that this was inspired by his hatred of people here in this community.
Patrick Wood Crusius was charged with capital murder, and federal authorities launched a hate crime investigation, given the clear racial motivations outlined in his manifesto. As the case progressed, Crusius entered a guilty plea to 90 federal charges, including hate crimes and firearms offenses, thus avoiding a potential death sentence and instead receiving 90 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole.
The court sentences you as follows. Count 1, malice murder, life without the possibility of parole.
In the quiet neighborhood of Satilla Shores, Georgia, a shocking event unfolded that would ripple across the nation, igniting a firestorm of debate on race, justice, and vigilantism. Take a seat at the Glynn County Superior Court, where Judge Timothy Walmsley presides over this case involving father and son. On February 23, 2020, Ahmaud Arbery, a 25-year-old black man, was out for a jog when he was tragically gunned down. The men responsible, Gregory and Travis McMichael, alongside their neighbor William Roddy. Brian claimed they suspected Arbery of burglary.
Investigators looking closely at surveillance video appearing to show the final moments of Ahmaud Arbery just before he was shot and killed by a father and son who said they were trying to make a citizen's arrest.
Gregory McMichael, a 64-year-old retired police officer and former Brunswick Judicial Circuit District Attorney's Office investigator, spotted Ahmaud from his front yard. Gregory, alongside his 34-year-old son, Travis McMichael, who also had experience in law enforcement, armed themselves with a .357 Magnum revolver and a shotgun, respectively, and pursued Ahmaud in their white pickup truck. The McMichaels claimed they recognized Ahmaud from security camera footage circulated among neighbors, footage that showed a man wandering around a nearby house under construction. They suspected him of committing recent burglaries in the area, although no evidence linked Ahmaud to any such crimes.
He's been caught on the camera a bunch before, black guy like t-shirts.
The father and son duo decided to take matters into their own hands, initiating a chase that would have deadly consequences. The chase came to a head when Travis McMichael exited his truck with the shotgun in hand. A confrontation ensued between Travis and Ahmaud, who struggled with Travis over the firearm and ended with 3 gunshot wounds. Despite their admission that they had pursued and confronted Ahmaud, no arrests were made on that day. The McMichaels claimed they acted in self-defense and were attempting a citizen's arrest.
Travis gets out with the shotgun and runs up there, and I said, Travis, don't shoot, don't do anything. The guy turns and comes at him, and they start wrestling, and Travis shoots him right in the chest.
It wasn't until the video of the shooting, recorded by Brian, was leaked 2 months later that the case gained national attention. Within days, the McMichaels were arrested and charged with murder and aggravated assault. Brian was also arrested as his involvement in the chase and the recording of the incident implicated him in the events, leading to Ahmaud's death.
Police have arrested and charged 2 white men for the killing of 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery, an unarmed black man who was shot while jogging in his neighborhood back in February.
In November 2021, attention turned to the Glynn County Courthouse. The prosecution contended that the McMichaels had no immediate knowledge of any crime committed by Ahmaud, undermining their claim of attempting a citizen's arrest. The defense claimed that the McMichaels were within their rights to perform a citizen's arrest. Travis McMichael took the stand in his own defense, claiming that Ahmaud had attacked him and grabbed his shotgun.
He had my gun. He struck me. It was obvious that he was attacking me, that if he would have got the shotgun from me, then this is a life or death situation.
Travis McMichael, his father Gregory McMichael, and their neighbor William Roddy Bryan were found guilty of murder in the death of Ahmaud Arbery. The McMichaels were sentenced to life in prison with no parole and an additional 20 years, while Roddy Bryan was sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 30 years.
The mandatory life sentence is imposed.
In the quiet town of Belmont, Massachusetts, a simple road rage argument between 2 drivers soon escalated into a harrowing tale of hate and tragedy that not only shook this peaceful town, but led to the untimely death of Henry Tapia. Join us at the Middlesex Court, where the trial of 56-year-old driver Dean Capsalis is about to be sentenced. On a cold January in 2021, the streets of Belmont, Massachusetts became the backdrop for a confrontation with fatal consequences. Henry Tapia, a 34-year-old black man, was driving through the neighborhood, unaware that his life was about to intersect with Dean Capsalis, a 56-year-old white man, in the most tragic of ways.
Police say a driver intentionally hit a man during an argument in the street with his car, and that victim later died.
The incident began with a seemingly minor traffic infraction after Capsalis failed to use a turn signal. This angered Tapia, and both men began to exchange words. Unfortunately, the argument escalated quickly, with Capsalis uttering a racial slur directed at Tapia. Like this wasn't bad enough, he climbed back into his pickup truck, revved the engine, and accelerated towards Tapia.
In this case, the allegation is that the defendant intentionally acted
to strike the victim with his vehicle.
The impact was immediate and devastating. Tapia was struck by the vehicle and suffered injuries that, despite the swift response of emergency services, would prove to be fatal as he died shortly after. Kapsalis, rather than staying at the scene, fled, but later, in a move that would be scrutinized during the trial, Kapsalis turned himself in to the police. His fiancée defended him, saying Tapia threatened him first.
Yes, the N-word is inappropriate, but Dean did not come out of that car screaming a racial slur. Mr. Tapia threatened him.
The trial of Dean Kapsalis, set against the backdrop of a nation confronting its own issues with race and justice, became a focal point for many. The prosecution, led by District Attorney Marion Ryan, presented a case that hinged on the argument that Kapsalis's actions were not only deliberate, but also racially motivated.
54-year-old Dean Kapsalis of Hudson appeared in court today on Zoom from jail. He's now charged with murder.
After the jury delivered their guilty verdict, the focus shifted to determining the appropriate punishment for the crime committed against Henry Tapia. Kapsalis himself took the opportunity to apologize to Tapia's family, expressing shame for his use of the racial slur and the irreversible harm he had caused.
My deepest sympathy to Mr. Tapia's family and loved ones. I truly am sorry for your loss.
The judge sentenced Kapsalis to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 15 years, a sentence he described as proportional to the severity of the offense.
Just get the hell out of here, go back to myself, and wait for phase 2 if you're not going to give me a fair trial. You won't even answer a simple question. What the hell am I with you?
Our final story takes us to Overland Park, Kansas, where in 2014, an act of terror struck close to home. Frazier Glenn Miller, Jr., a former KKK member, fueled by a lifetime of white supremacist ideology, committed a heinous hate crime that shook the nation. As the Johnson County District Court echoed with the weight of his life sentence, Miller's reaction was one of unrepentant anger. Born in 1940, Miller's life was a cauldron of racist propaganda and conspiracy theories. He founded the Carolina Knights of the Ku Klux Klan in the early 1980s, which later evolved into the White Patriot Party. His organizations were known for paramilitary activities and aggressive intimidation tactics against minority groups, which eventually led to legal troubles and a federal court order prohibiting his paramilitary operations.
One God, one race, one nation, so help us God Almighty, white power!
On April 13, 2014, in Overland Park, Kansas, Frazier Glenn Miller Jr. drove to the Jewish Community Center of Greater Kansas City, where families were gathering for a youth singing competition. Without a word, Miller opened fire, taking the life of 14-year-old Reet Underwood and his grandfather, Dr. William Corporon, before making his way to a retirement center in Village Shalom, where he killed Terry Lamano.
Possible hate crime, and it comes one day before Passover. A gunman goes on a rampage in Kansas City. Police say the shooter asked people if they were Jewish, and if they responded yes, he opened fire. 2 people were killed outside a Jewish community center, and a 3rd person died at a Shalom retirement community.
Miller was apprehended shortly after the shootings near a local elementary school, reportedly shouting anti-Semitic slurs and declaring Heil Hitler as he was taken into custody.
He surrendered at a nearby grade school, screaming the Nazi salute.
In 2015, Miller faced charges of capital murder and attempted murder, and he represented himself during the trial. He showed no remorse for his actions, and his defense strategy seemed more about gaining attention for his hateful ideology. After an emotionally charged trial, Miller was found guilty on all charges, including capital murder. When the sentence was handed down, Miller received the death penalty for his crimes.
And for your conviction for capital murder, will be transported to the Kansas Department of Corrections to carry out the sentence of death by lethal injection.
Upon hearing his fate, Miller's reaction was one of defiance.
I'll just get the hell out of here, go back to myself, and wait for phase 2 if you're not going to give me a fair trial. You won't even answer a simple question. What the hell am I with you?
Miller.
He launched into a tirade filled with anti-Semitic slurs, showing the same lack of remorse he had displayed throughout the trial.
You're making it impossible for me to explain what was on my mind and my specific intent. Therefore, by extension, you prevent me from getting a fair trial, and you're guaranteeing a guilty verdict.
He also said to the judge and prosecutor, "If I had known you and you were there, I would have probably shot you too." In conclusion, each of these cases serves as a stark reminder of the enduring racial divisions happening. The sentences handed down not only represent a punishment for their actions, but also stand as a deterrent to those who might consider perpetuating hate. If you found this video thought-provoking, click on the cards showing on your screen and I'll be waiting.